A $500 billion industry? I mean, you'd think getting a piece of the global food delivery market requires, I don't know, tens of millions in venture capital and like an underground bunker full of elite coders working for years.
Oh, yeah, that's the myth.
Right. But today, we are looking at a stack of sources, specifically this incredibly detailed developer strategy guide and a comprehensive market analysis that prove the exact opposite. We are cracking open the blueprint on how tech entrepreneurs are basically bypassing years of grueling development to launch a full-scale delivery empire. And they're doing it in just a matter of weeks.
It's wild.
Using what the industry calls a bolt food clone. So welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It completely dismantles that traditional startup myth we all know.
Totally.
We're so used to the story of, the solitary genius inventing every single microchip from scratch in a garage.
Right, the Steve Jobs narrative.
Exactly. But to understand why these clone scripts even exist in the first place, you kind of have to look at the sheer scale of the playground we're entering. The stakes here are almost unfathomable.
Yeah, the numbers in the source are staggering.
They really are. According to Grandview Research, the global online food delivery market was valued at $288.8 billion in 2024.
Cute.
And by 2030, it is projected to rocket to $505.5 billion.
$500 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, with that kind of capital flowing through these networks, it is no wonder so many local entrepreneurs are just desperately trying to get a seat at the table.
Right.
Which brings us to the actual source material for this deep dive. They aren't starting with a blank screen anymore. They are using this white label clone.
Exactly. And a white label clone is, well, it's essentially a highly sophisticated pre-built software solution.
Okay.
It's explicitly designed to replicate the business model, the complex workflows, and the entire feature set of a proven, massively successful platform.
Right. They're not reinventing the wheel.
No. Not at all. And in this specific developer guide, they are modeling it after Bolt Food.
Okay, so give us some context on Bolt for those who don't know.
Sure. So Bolt is an Estonian ride-hailing company founded by Markus Villig. And they dominated parts of Europe and Africa before brilliantly leveraging their existing network to spin off into food delivery.
Which makes sense.
It does. They already spent the millions of dollars figuring out the optimal logistical blueprint. A clone basically packages that exact blueprint up into a commercial product for someone else to buy.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because thinking about it, like, this completely changes the barrier to entry.
Oh, absolutely.
If you are building a delivery app from scratch, our sources estimate that takes, what, 8 to 12 months?
At least.
It's like building a custom Formula One race car part by part.
That's a great way to put it.
You have to machine the engine block, you have to weld the titanium frame, calibrate the steering column, and you burn through a massive budget before you even have a functioning vehicle to put on the track.
Right, and you don't even know if it's going to win.
Exactly. But buying a clone, that's like buying a proven, pre-assembled chassis. The hardcore engineering is done, the aerodynamics are tested, you just have to, paint it, put your local branding on the side, and hire the driver.
That is the perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You're taking a timeline that normally spans an entire year and compressing it into a few weeks.
Wow.
And the reason that is so powerful is because you aren't wasting your seed capital trying to validate the underlying technology. We already know the technology works.
Right.
Instead, you get to focus 100% of your energy on validating the local market demand.
Okay, so I've bought this pre-assembled race car chassis, and I've painted my logo on the side.
Yep.
But what happens when the customer actually turns the key? Like, walk me through the exact moment someone sitting on their couch decides they crave a burger. How does the engine of this clone actually run?
Well, we all kind of know the consumer side of the equation, right? You open the app, it filters by your geography.
Right, finds the local spot.
Yeah. You browse the menu, drop a burger in your basket, and you head to checkout. The text notes that these clones come pre-configured to handle multiple payment gateways, meaning the customer could use a credit card, a proprietary digital wallet like Bolt Balance, for example, or even cash on delivery, depending on what the local market customs are.
Oh, that's smart. Adapting to local payment habits.
Very important.
Yeah.
But the second that payment clears, things get incredibly complicated.
Okay.
This clone immediately executes just a massive logistical puzzle.
Right, because an order isn't just a notification on a phone, it's a chain reaction.
Exactly.
So the payment goes through, and imagine the system has to instantly ping the restaurant's kitchen.
Precisely. It hits a dedicated restaurant dashboard. But it's not just telling them to cook a burger.
Oh,
No, the system calculates the estimated prep time based on the current kitchen volume.
okay.
And here is the genius part. As the kitchen starts cooking, the software simultaneously triggers a complex algorithm on the logistics side to find a courier.
Wow.
It's analyzing GPS data, traffic patterns, and driver availability to route the nearest courier so they arrive at the restaurant exactly as the food comes out of the fryer.
Okay, let's unpack this, because mapping that out just triggered a massive realization for me.
What's that?
When the developer guide says you're buying a quote-unquote clone app, that terminology is actually doing the software a huge disservice.
Oh, totally.
You aren't buying one app. I mean, to make that chain reaction happen, you are buying a complex, synchronized, multi-platform ecosystem. You need the customer app for the initial order. You need the courier app for the GPS routing and the driver earnings, the restaurant dashboard for the kitchen prep management, and then a central admin panel sitting on top to oversee all the data.
Right.
It's a three-sided marketplace running simultaneously.
It is a complete digital ecosystem. And maintaining seamless synchronization across all four of those interfaces in real time.
That sounds like a nightmare to code.
It is phenomenally difficult to code from scratch. Ensuring the customer's live map perfectly reflects the courier's GPS coordinates while the restaurant updates the prep status. That complex synchronization is exactly what you are paying for when you buy the clone.
But I have to challenge this premise for a second.
Okay, go for it.
With so many moving parts, if the architecture is just, available for purchase off the shelf, if any entrepreneur anywhere in the world can just buy the exact same prefab ecosystem, how do you possibly stand out?
It's a fair question.
Like, if my code is completely identical to the guy down the street who also bought a clone, does the technology even matter at that point?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the source text explicitly warns against falling into that exact trap.
Really?
Yeah. The clone gives you the workflow. It gives you the operational efficiency and the machinery to move a product from point A to point B without the system crashing.
Right.
But it absolutely does not give you a brand, it doesn't give you user trust, and it doesn't give you a network. The source is very clear on this. You must treat the clone as the infrastructure, not the business itself.
I see.
You still have to do the grueling ground-level work of building your reputation, convincing local restaurants to actually sign on, and earning the trust of your customer base completely from scratch.
So the technology is literally just the price of admission.
Exactly.
It gets you into the stadium, but it doesn't guarantee you a seat at the VIP table. If you want to win, you have to out-execute the competition in the real world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In this industry, the core technology has been commoditized. The execution, the customer service, and the strength of your local relationships are where the battle is actually won or lost.
Okay, so if the tech is just the machinery, let's talk about the fuel.
Okay.
How does this machinery actually capture capital? We've got this beautiful three-sided marketplace with restaurants, drivers, and hungry people. Where are the toll booths?
The revenue model outlined in the source is incredibly multi-layered. You are basically monetizing the friction of every interaction within that ecosystem.
Monetizing fiction, I like that.
Yeah. So the guide details 5 primary revenue streams.
Okay.
And the first, which is the foundational pillar of the business, is the restaurant commission.
Right. Standard.
You charge a flat percentage of the total order value to the restaurant in exchange for giving them access to your customer base and, managing the logistical headache of delivery.
Okay. The classic cut of the sale. But logistics aren't free, and you still have to pay the person driving the car. So I assume the customer is eating a delivery fee to cover the driver's fuel and time.
You're spot on. That's the second stream, delivery fees.
Okay.
And this is a dynamic fee charged to the customer that fluctuates based on distance, the total value of the order, and the current demand on the network.
Oh, surge pricing.
Exactly, what we commonly call surge pricing.
Yeah.
And this primarily goes toward courier payouts. But then comes the third stream, which is the service or platform fee.
Wait, so the customer gets hit twice, once for the delivery and again for a platform fee.
Correct. The service fee is usually a smaller percentage added at checkout, specifically designed to cover the overarching technology costs.
Like what?
Like server maintenance, API calls, and most importantly, the credit card processing fees that the platform has to absorb.
Okay, let me get this straight. So you're taking a cut from the restaurant, a delivery fee from the customer, and a maintenance fee on top of that. It's basically like being a digital landlord. You charge the restaurant's rent in the form of commissions, and you charge the customer a maintenance fee just to walk into the building.
That is a highly accurate way to visualize it.
Yeah.
You are monetizing the digital real estate. And that landlord analogy perfectly explains the fourth revenue stream,
Which is?
advertising and promotions.
Oh, okay.
Once your app has a large enough user base, restaurants will actually pay you an additional premium fee to have their listings featured prominently at the top of the search results.
Right, the sponsored listings.
Exactly. Or to run targeted promotional banners inside your app.
So you're selling billboard space in the lobby to the restaurants who want to be seen first. I love that.
Yeah, it's very lucrative. And the final piece of the puzzle is subscription plans.
Okay.
The platform allows you to offer customers a monthly recurring subscription, sort of similar to an Amazon Prime model.
Oh, I've seen those.
Right. In exchange for a flat monthly fee, the customer gets reduced delivery fees, exclusive offers, priority support. And this is crucial because it shifts your revenue from purely transactional to a predictable recurring stream.
Okay, but if I'm an entrepreneur looking at this developer guide, right, and I just bought a clone that has the functionality to support all 5 of these revenue streams out of the box,
Yeah.
why hold back? If the code can do it, why not turn all the dials to max on day 1 and just maximize my margins immediately?
Because turning all the dials to max on day one is a surefire way to suffocate your business before it even takes its first breath.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The strategic advice in the text is a massive warning sign. Do not launch all these monetization models simultaneously.
Why? Just because it scares people off?
Think about the psychology of a new user. You are a brand new app. They don't trust your delivery times yet. They don't know your brand, and they aren't loyal to you.
That's true.
If you hit a first-time user with high restaurant prices to cover your commissions, a steep delivery fee, a service fee on top of that, and then immediately push a monthly subscription in their face,
They're gonna bounce.
they will simply delete the app and go back to Uber Eats.
Ugh. You alienate the user base before you've actually proven your value. You have to build the habit first and the profit engine second.
Exactly. The guide's strong recommendation is to start incredibly simple. Begin with just baseline restaurant commissions and a transparent, fair delivery fee.
Okay.
During this phase, you have to be meticulous about calculating your margins. You must understand your customer acquisition costs. How much marketing money did it take to get that person to download the app?
Right.
And factor in your payment processing fees and your courier expenses.
Right.
Only once you have achieved a critical mass of loyal customers and merchants, and you deeply understand their price sensitivity, should you introduce the advertising models and the subscription plans.
So restrainment launch is basically a survival mechanism.
Absolutely.
But before an entrepreneur even has the luxury of holding back on monetization, they have to write a check.
They do.
What is the actual sticker price for this digital real estate? If I am buying the pre-assembled chassis, how much capital do I need to clear the bank?
So the developer guide estimates that the total cost to develop, customize, and launch a full-scale Bolt clone app ranges from $40,000 to well over $100,000, depending on the complexity of your local market integrations.
Whoa, 40 to 100 grand. I thought the whole point of a clone was that it was a cheap shortcut. Where is all that capital actually going?
Well, the text provides a very transparent breakdown of the components. And remember, it's a 4-part ecosystem.
Right, the 4 apps.
So the customer app, which needs to be native for both iOS and Android, runs between $10,000 and $25,000.
Okay, that's a chunk.
The courier app, which requires really complex GPS integration, is $8,000 to $18,000.
Wow.
The restaurant dashboard is $6,000 to $15,000. The central admin panel is $5,000 to $12,000. And integrating secure payment gateways and third-party APIs costs another $3,000 to $8,000.
Okay, I see how that adds up incredibly fast. But wait, I'm looking at my notes on this breakdown, and there are 2 line items here that seem contradictory to the whole premise.
Which one?
It says UI and UX design, user interface, and user experience cost between $5,000 and $12,000.
Yeah.
And QA, quality assurance and testing, is another $3,000 to $8,000. Let me challenge this. If I am buying a pre-built, ready-to-use clone solution that is supposed to be already proven, why am I dropping up to $12,000 just to design it and $8,000 to test it?
It's a very common point of friction for entrepreneurs entering this space.
Okay.
But it ties right back to our earlier discussion about why the tech alone doesn't guarantee success.
Okay, how so?
Having a quote-unquote unique UI is heavily emphasized in the text as one of the absolute top priorities. Yeah. The clone gives you the wireframe. It gives you the back-end logic and the database architecture. But if you launch into your city with the exact same visual interface and color scheme as the generic template, you look like a cheap, untrustworthy knockoff.
Oh, so you are basically paying 12 grand to make sure the clone doesn't look like a clone.
Exactly. You are adapting the psychological experience of the app to your specific target audience. A well-designed custom interface is how you foster a strong emotional bond with your local customers.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
And as for the testing budget, that is equally critical. You aren't just testing the core code. You're paying to test the integrations.
What do you mean?
You are hooking this clone up to local third-party payment gateways, local GPS mapping services, and deploying it across hundreds of different variations of mobile devices in your specific region.
Oh, right. Different phones, different carriers.
Exactly. If a courier's map glitches during a delivery because the API wasn't tested on a specific Android phone, your brand takes the hit, not the clone developer. That requires rigorous quality assurance.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. The chassis is pre-assembled, but the suspension still has to be tuned to the specific potholes of your local city.
I like that. Yes.
So how does this development process actually roll out? I assume you don't just write a check for 100 grand and get a zip file with 4 apps a week later.
No. It is a highly structured process. The guide outlines a 6-step development phase.
Okay, walk me through it.
It has to start with market research, deeply understanding your local competitors, analyzing consumer trends, identifying gaps in the current delivery landscape. You cannot skip this.
Right. Step 1 is know your battlefield.
Yes. Then step 2 is identifying features. And this is vital. The source heavily advises separating your desired features into 2 distinct buckets.
I'm guessing the first bucket is the absolute bare minimum you need to function, like the minimum viable product.
Right. They call them the must-haves at launch. This includes essential functions like real-time order tracking, secure in-app payments, the core dashboards, and push notifications.
And the second bucket?
Phase 2. These are the luxury features: loyalty programs, advanced predictive analytics, multi-language support, and those subscription plans we talked about earlier.
Gotcha.
You hold these back purposefully to validate that people actually want your service before you burn through your capital coding features nobody will use.
That's smart. It severely limits the initial burn rate. So what's step 3?
Step 3 is the UI/UX design customization.
Okay.
Step 4 is the actual development phase, where the front-end design is integrated with the back-end clone logic.
Sounds like where the heavy lifting happens.
Exactly. Step 5 is the rigorous testing and launching on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Right.
And finally, step 6 is marketing and promotion, leveraging social media, local food blogs, influencer partnerships, and aggressive discount codes to build that crucial initial customer base.
All right, so let's put ourselves in the shoes of the entrepreneur. You've done the painstaking market research. You've separated your features and disciplined your rollout.
Yeah.
You've spent the 100 grand, customized a gorgeous UI, and you've officially launched. You step out into the wild. Who is waiting for you in the arena?
Well, you are stepping into a fiercely competitive arena dominated by massive, incredibly well-funded giants.
Who are we talking about?
The text lists the top-tier competitors you're up against: Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub, which hold a massive grip on markets like the U.S.
Obviously.
But you also have to contend with major regional powerhouses like Just Eat, Glovo, and Wolt.
Here's my struggle with this market, though. To the average user ordering dinner, it just feels like different colored bags showing up at the door.
Right, it can blur together.
How do these massive platforms actually differentiate themselves from one another?
It all comes down to the underlying strengths of their specific networks. The source provides a brilliant comparative analysis between Bolt Food and Wolt, who compete fiercely across European markets.
Okay, what's Wolt's angle?
Wolt's strategic advantage is heavily focused on its dense delivery network and an incredibly wide, curated selection of local restaurants.
So they have the best food options.
Exactly. Bolt, on the other hand, approaches the battlefield with a totally different weapon. They leverage their existing ride-hailing driver network.
So Bolt has a massive logistical advantage because they already have an army of drivers on the streets giving people rides.
Yes.
They just cross-train them to pick up food between passenger trips. That is incredibly efficient.
It's a huge advantage.
But wait, checking the source notes here, there's another distinction made between Bolt Food and Bolt Market.
Ah, yes.
What is the difference between those two, and why does it matter?
That distinction is the key to understanding the true power of what you are buying. Bolt Food is strictly focused on restaurant and prepared food delivery.
Okay.
Bolt Market is their dedicated rapid grocery delivery offering, which operates within the same app ecosystem in selected markets. And this highlights the absolute brilliance of the clone architecture.
How so?
Yeah.
If I buy a food delivery clone, aren't I just stuck delivering food?
Not at all. The underlying ecosystem, the customer checkout, the courier routing, the admin oversight, is totally agnostic to what is actually inside the bag.
Wait, really?
Yeah. The text explicitly states that this clone script can be adapted for rapid grocery delivery, pharmacy dispatch, alcohol delivery, and even hyperlocal services like daily milk delivery.
Oh, wow.
Now, obviously, delivering a hot pizza requires a very different logistical workflow and timing than, delivering a week's worth of frozen groceries or
Yeah.
legally verifying someone's age for a bottle of wine.
Sure, the variables change.
Right. But the core technology stack can be repurposed to handle all of those verticals.
So what does this all mean? We have to ask the crucial question for our listener right now.
Let's do it.
We are looking at a market projected to hit $500 billion. We have an off-the-shelf blueprint that costs $100,000 to get in the door and can deliver anything from burgers to cough syrup. Is this a gold rush for local entrepreneurs who want to become the digital landlords of their own cities? Or is the market already so incredibly saturated by these monolithic global algorithms, the Ubers, the DoorDashes, that trying to compete locally is just a fool's errand?
It's the million-dollar question. The developer guide is realistic. It doesn't promise easy riches,
Right.
but it does provide specific tactical advice for staying competitive, which strongly suggests there is still massive opportunity for local players who execute flawlessly.
Okay, what's the advice?
To survive and thrive against the giants, they advise focusing intensely on 3 core pillars.
Okay, pillar 1.
First, continuously expanding your delivery reach into underserved peripheral neighborhoods that the big players just ignore.
The gaps in the map.
Exactly. Second, maniacally focusing on a tight customer feedback loop to identify local blind spots.
Give me an example.
Maybe a specific neighborhood prefers cash payments, or a local restaurant needs a custom prep time algorithm that Uber won't give them. You can provide that.
Okay, and the third?
And third, keeping the ordering process incredibly simple and culturally relevant. If a local entrepreneur can provide a more tailored, hyper-responsive, and community-integrated experience, they can carve out a highly profitable niche that a global algorithm simply cannot replicate.
Okay, so let's recap this incredible journey we've just been on. We started with the realization that you can completely bypass years of grueling coding by utilizing a white label script.
Yep.
We unpacked how a $100,000 investment buys you not just an app, but a complex, synchronized, 3-sided marketplace routing couriers and pinging kitchens in real time.
Mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is. We explored the digital landlord economics of monetizing friction through commissions, delivery fees, and subscriptions. And finally, we looked at how this customizable chassis can allow a savvy local entrepreneur to step into a $500 billion industry and potentially outmaneuver the global giants by dominating the local details.
It truly is a masterclass in how technology is democratizing access to highly complex business models. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an important question based on what we just discussed regarding the adaptability of the clone.
Oh, where does this lead us?
We established that this complex, synchronized technology required to run a multi-vertical delivery empire is no longer proprietary magic. It is now an affordable, standardized commodity that anyone with $100,000 can buy off the shelf.
Right.
We talked about repurposing it for food, groceries, and pharmacy. But what happens when neighborhoods realize they have access to this logistical firepower for things we haven't even thought of yet?
Oh, wow.
If the software problem is solved, could a neighborhood association buy this chassis to route local security patrols?
That's crazy.
Could a community use it to share expensive power tools or manage a hyper-local gig economy for babysitting and tutoring, completely bypassing global platforms altogether?
Just their own internal network.
Exactly. If the power to route human logistics is this cheap and accessible, the future of the App Store might not be dominated by a few global monolithic companies, but rather by a million hyperlocal everything apps mapped precisely to your own block.
That is a fascinating thought to chew on. Are we heading for a future ruled by global monoliths or 1,000 hyperlocal, community-run empires managing our day-to-day lives? It completely changes how you look at the technology humming quietly inside your phone the next time you order dinner. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us. Keep questioning the systems around you, keep looking under the hood, and we will catch you on the next one.